When a young man, Edgar Allan Poe was a cadet at West Point. Edgar Allan Poe did not like West Point. He didn't like all the rules, all the training he had to go through. One day, the cadets were supposed to turn out in formation on the parade grounds and march before the generals. Edgar Allan Poe checked his rule book to find out what the dress code was for that special occasion. The rule book said to wear white gloves and a white belt. So that's what he wore. White gloves and a white belt. Nothing else. When the military commander saw him out there on the parade grounds, they promptly threw him out of West Point, which is what he wanted. It's scary to think of facing the world naked. Why do we wear clothes anyway? King Duncan says, there are really only two reasons why we wear clothes: function and fashion. We wear clothes for privacy and to protect us from the elements. That's function. For example, we wear shoes on our feet to keep our feet from getting hurt, getting cut. A mother was talking to her daughter, preparing her to go outside in the cold weather. The daughter asked her mother, "Mom, why is my winter coat so heavy, so bulky, so squeezy?" And her mom explained, it's that way because it was filled with down, which keeps her warm. "Oh," said her daughter with great understanding, "so my summer coat is filled with up because it's so light." We wear clothes for function and fashion. Clothes keep us warm, protect us from hurting ourselves. They also make a statement about who we are and how we feel about ourselves. All of this and more is what the Apostle Paul is talking about when he talks about telling us to put on the whole armor of God. The imagery is very vivid. Christians are those of us who are going out into the world to do battle against evil. Therefore, we must dress as soldiers. The soldier Paul had in mind was the first century soldier. Their uniforms were more critical than today's soldiers. They didn't have tanks back in the Apostle Paul's days or armored personnel carriers to protect them. They were out in the open. The psalmist says in Psalm 3, "You, Lord, are a shield around me." The Roman shield was not just a small personal shield. When the Apostle Paul uses the word shield, he refers to the big oblong shields the Roman soldiers used for two purposes. The shield was big. When the soldier crouched behind it, his whole body was protected from the swords and the spears thrown at him. And each shield had grooves along the sides, along its edges, so that that shield could fit into the shield next to it and the shield next to it, which would make a literal wall for all the soldiers to stand behind for protection. You and I, when we put on the shield of God to go out to fight evil, we have two sources of strength: our personal faith in God and the strength of our Christian community, God's church, our church. When the psalmist says, "You, Lord, are a shield around me," the word that jumps out at me is around. God's not just in front of us, or beside us, or in back of us. God is around us. God being around me reminds me of stepping into those x-ray machines at the airport terminal. And then you're standing there and you put your hands up and the x-ray machine goes around your body, scanning your complete body. God is completely around us, shielding us, protecting us, comforting us.